The murder of Kristina Marie Kristy Wesselman. On the afternoon of July 21, 1985, about 20 miles west of Chicago in the small village of Glen Ellyn, Illinois, 15-year-old Kristy Wesselman was walking home after visiting a local shop to buy a candy bar and a soda, near Butterfield Road and Route 53. She was followed by an unknown man, who first sexually assaulted her, and then stabbed her to death. The next day, a sheriff's deputy found her partially unclothed body around 11 a.m., in a field between the store and her home. The half-eaten candy bar was found not far from her body. Wesselman had been stabbed 8 times, and had a shoelace tied around her neck. She was 15 years old. The crime scene did not provide much for the investigators, however some DNA evidence was found. But it could not be matched to anybody. As there were no leads, the case quickly went cold, and Kristy was soon forgotten. Years later, with the DNA analysis becoming a more reliable and common forensic tool, the rape kit from the case was re-examined and a complete male DNA profile was recovered. However, a search through the national database yielded no match. In 2015, 30 years later, a man was arrested on an unrelated aggravated domestic battery charge in Champaign County. He was required by law to submit a DNA sample for the national database. Forensics compared his DNA in the national database and found a match in the Wesselman murder case. Prosecutors charged Michael R. Jones for murder in the first degree, as well as sexual assault of a minor. At the time of the murder, Jones lived in Champaign, Illinois, about 150 miles south of Glen Ellyn, when he murdered Wesselman, but he was never a suspect in the case. Jones had a history of mistreating women. In 1976 he first assaulted Judith Van Kirk, but was not convicted for the assault. A year later Jones assaulted another young woman named Jerry Michael, who was 18 at the time. She was riding her bike when Jones used his car to knock her down. Jones then forced her at gunpoint into his parents' house where he sexually assaulted her. Jones pleaded guilty to assaulting Jerry Michael and received 10 to 20 years for his crime, but he only served less than 6 years before being released. A long-awaited day of justice finally came on Tuesday, January 23, 2018, for the family of Kristy Wesselman, who was murdered 32 years ago. At the trial, Kristy's mother said, "Kristy was murdered on July 21, 1985. We were denied our right to see what the final results of her journey would have been. Kristy did not have the chance to go to her brother's or sister's weddings. She never knew the joy of getting to know her nieces and nephews. Our pain from the loss of Kristy will never be completely healed. My children and I have built lives that are, to all appearances, normal. We are survivors." On January 18, 2018, the defendant pleaded guilty to raping and murdering 15-year-old Kristy Wesselman. He was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to 80 years for the murder and will spend the rest of his life in prison.